And I'm back with Jerry
Budrick.
Budrick. Nice to meet you, sir.
Hi, Austin.
Very, very prominent figure in the community and done quite a lot with himself. You said you were in the restaurant business, in the newspaper business at the Ledger-Dispatch. You're a realtor now.
Well, I've been a realtor for 25 years, actually, just very quietly.
Very quietly?
Yeah, I started way back in 1990 with C2C Realty in Jackson.
Okay.
And it was a really bad year that I started.
That's how my mom
And I had to find
started.
other jobs then, and ended up in the restaurant business. Had a restaurant in Sutter Creek for 10 years. Sold it 10 years ago. It's like 20 years ago we started the restaurant when we quit 10 years ago. And it's presently the one called Bella Rosa 2.
They just moved in there then.
Mm-hmm.
And before then it was JD's, and yours was...
Cafe Viadoro.
Cafe Viadoro. And I do regret that I wasn't able to...
Yeah, you told me you were just born.
I was born when you bought the restaurant. How about that? Well, I wish that I had had time to actually go in and try it, because I'm sure.
Well, it's funny.
amazing.
Even 10 years later, now people stop us on the street or in public places and say, "Oh, we miss your restaurant so much." A lady just in the reception room back here, she said, "Oh, that was our favorite restaurant." And
yeah,
it's amazing how 10 years seems like nothing to some folks. So they remember the dishes that we had.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of restaurants like that. Yours, Bonanza's as well. Some of the restaurants that we'll miss.
Yeah.
And then you had one in the Bay Area called
Chez Panisse. Yeah,
Chez Panisse.
20 years I was one of the owners of that.
How well did that restaurant do?
It still does great.
It's still doing it good.
It's 40. It'll be 44 years old this year.
Now, is it exclusively French dishes, or is it...
Oh, no. It invented California cuisine, actually.
Oh.
It started out as a French restaurant, but became much more diverse.
It became everything. It's California cuisine. It's,
yeah.
Well, that's kind of interesting.
Had a lot of Italian stuff come in, and foods from all around the world.
A lot of foods over in Europe. They come over and we tweak them, but they still turn out good.
Oh, the reason I'm here, though, is because Susie Slivick called me the other night. She had seen a post I put on Facebook, because last weekend I ran into a couple of folks who said, "Oh, we thought you left the county. We thought you had moved away." See, I quit the Ledger-Dispatch. I was the editor there for a number of years, and I quit it back in the end of November, around Thanksgiving last year, and went back into the real estate world. And I've been slowly trying to get established back in that business, because I think it's having a resurgence now.
And
but people heard that we had left,
right?
that my wife Deborah and I had left the county, and we haven't. We just celebrated our 20th year in Amador City, which is, by the way, having its centennial on May 30th, 100-year anniversary of the city incorporation.
Big time for
celebration.
Amador City.
And we're here. We're not going anywhere. We're staying in Amador City, and
he's not leaving, guys.
And I'm working at Century 21 in Jackson with Keith Devoyne, working for La Quinta de Marco, is the broker of record. And I'm hoping to make a little bit of money doing that.
Is it the same as you remember when you first got into real estate?
Oh no, everything's changed because of the big recession, the bubble that burst, and everything that happened in the interim, with the foreclosures that swept the market and the bank-owned properties. And it's hard even now to... I have a house next door to me, which is, I'm not sure what the situation is. It was in foreclosure, and people have moved back in, and I don't know how it works that way. And there are houses around the county that are vacant, and, you know.
A lot of times, I know because my mom is a realtor, but a lot of times I hear that their house is being foreclosed on, but they're still living in the house, and you know, until they're actually being evicted from the house, they're living there rent-free, basically.
Yeah, that happens.
And I mean, I guess it's not really the right thing to do, but it is kind of smart sometimes, because that whole time, that, you know, what money they would be paying for rent or a house payment is being saved, and
oh yeah, it's good for the people who
else.
are in that situation for a while, but it's kind of a black mark on your record to be foreclosed on and all.
Yeah.
But it happened to so many millions of people around the country.
Oh yeah, one of my friends, his house was foreclosed on, and they're still renting, but they're looking to buy property now.
Well, you've heard about predatory lending, right? That's what happened. A lot of people got suckered into deals
there's no way they didn't read the fine print, and
exactly.
Then, you know,
and the payments accelerated on them, and they
got now
caught,
it's like, oh, your interest rate just jumped up 10%.
Then they found out a couple of years later that their house is only worth half of what they had paid for it.
Yeah, inflation and that. And how long was the gap between when you first were in real estate and now, when you're getting back into it?
Well, the heyday of real estate was about 2005 and 6 in there. And then in 7, it started to slide down a little because the bubble was about to burst. And then 2008 is when it took the big plunge. And that's when I had to just give it up and find another job. And I found a job at the paper.
Funny enough, my mom actually got into real estate in like 2008.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So she's probably really good at foreclosures and REOs.
She went through so many of them. I remember that was like all she had for a long time was just REOs over and over.
Oh, yeah.
Well, if anyone's looking for a realtor, what's some of your information? That way they can get a hold of you.
Well, I have a cell phone, 304-2061, and I'm at 44 Main Street in Jackson with Century 21, and the phone number there is 223-2177, and call me.
All right. Thank you, Jerry.